And now we're going to practice making our area models and arrays with the base 10 blocks to represent multiplication in this assignment. So some steps on how to start, and you can use these as you do all of the rectangles, is to start with your using the base 10 blocks resources from the seating problem to complete this assignment. So you should already have downloaded the base 10 blocks and cut them out so we're ready to use. And then you need to really remember that unit squares can be counted rapidly since a 100 flat covers 100 unit squares. So you want to pick the biggest type of grouping of the base 10 blocks that you can use and start with that, and then work towards the smallest ones instead of just putting individual units onto your paper. That's going to take a while. It would be faster to use your 100 flat and then your 10 longs and then to use your unit squares. Anyway, a 100 flat covers 100 unit squares, a 10 long covers 10 unit squares, and a unit is 1 square. So when you are covering a rectangle with your base 10 blocks, you need to use the fewest amount of pieces so that your calculations or doing your multiplication of the area is going to go much more quickly. For number 3, what piece do you need to start with when trying to cover a rectangle? Well, it really depends on the size of your rectangle. If it is larger than a 10 by 10 on each side, then you could probably start with a 100 flat first, and then move to your 10 longs, and then move on down to your units after that. Is there a way for you to know which piece you should start with first? Like I said, if both factors are 10 or greater, that means your length and your width are greater than 10. Then you know that you can start with a 100 flat because 10 times 10 is 100. So you have at least 100 squares to fill in. Just look at the sides to determine the size of the base 10 blocks that you're going to start with, okay? So the more we play with this, the more it's going to make sense, really. So this is rectangle 1 from your paper, and we'll do this one together. What multiplication could be represented by this rectangle? You probably counted the squares on each side, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's a 14 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A 14 by 12. So I would say we would have a problem that has something about 14 times 12. Let's see if we're right. Oops, I did it wrong, didn't I? It's a 12 by 14, not a 14 by 12 rectangle, unless it's turned on its side. Always read the number of rows, then the number of columns. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so that's why it's 12 by 14. I get it. Okay, always do rows and then columns. What strategy can you use to estimate the number of units that would be needed to cover this rectangle? We should approximate the sizes of the 100 flat and the 10 long and determine whether those pieces would fit and then how many. And then we're going to work our way on down. That's what I would do. Start with the 100 flat, see if it'll fit on there. Then if not, then we're going to move down to the 10 longs and then the units. So your covering rectangles guidelines, start blocks in a corner of the rectangle. So you don't want to throw the blocks right in the middle. You want to put them in a corner. So you could start up in this corner, or this corner, or this corner, or this corner. Just don't start in the middle, okay? Use the fewest number of pieces by using 100 flats first, 10 longs second, and units last. So with this particular rectangle, going from this model, we can see that we would use one 100 flat, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a 10 by 10. Then it looks like these are probably 10 longs in the green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so then they're using 10 longs, and we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, and then 2 on this side, right? And then in the white are where the units are in order to fill in the rest of the rectangle. So in order to use our flats, we used one 100 flat, which equals 100 units. We used 6 10 longs. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total, for a total of 60 units. Okay, we want to count up all the individual units that we can use. Then we had how many units sitting here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We had 8 units, which is 8 units. So if we add all that, we should get 168 units. And then our multiplication problem represented, again, we count the rows first and then the columns, which will be 12 by 14. Now I want you to go through and complete the rest of the rectangles for covering rectangles assignment and then submit that online. Don't forget, you can always email or chat with me in order to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.